How to heal from a friendship breakup. What do you do when you lose a good friend? Somebody that's been your bud, somebody that's been beside you, and you break that up and you're left with wondering, what am I responsible for? What are they responsible for? It's tough to do. I got a method called Onopono. It's extreme accountability. It's a Hawaiian method. I'm gonna walk you through how to use it. And at the end, stick around, because I'm gonna tell you how I used it with my relationship with my wife, who I broke up with after 24 years. It was a hard thing to do, a lot to work through.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Big issue is when you break up with somebody, there's a lot of emotion involved, right? Friend, you fall out of friendship. Usually there is an instigating event that causes that. Or maybe it's a series of events that caused it, where somebody feels hurt. Somebody feels like we can't be friends anymore, and you're left wondering, what are these things that I did? And you process that relationship and it runs through, and you can ruminate on it, and you can cast blame, and you can wish for justice, and you can wish for all kinds of things that you'll never get. An apology, or a return on your money that you loaned. I don't know what the causes the breakup, but these are the things that our mind moves to. And the cool thing about Ho'oponopono is it removes you from the state that we get in that looks for answers outside of ourselves. And the idea, a real simple, basic idea of Ho'oponopono is that you take extreme accountability for anything that is entering into your circle of your life that causes you trouble or pain or discomfort. And you own everything you can to the very minor fraction that you can own it. And when you start to chart yourself on that road, you will begin to see that there is peace. There's comfort there. There's solace in knowing what you are responsible for, because you can only change yourself. And when we waste our time spinning our mind and emotions around things that are outside of our control, it just builds frustration. It perpetuates that anxiety that you feel, that sense of loss that you have over this broken relationship, because you're spinning your head around things that you have no control over. Ho'oponopono corrects that. So there's some phrasing that you can use. So if you've had a breakup with a friend, a loved one, somebody in your life, and you're struggling to face that, and you keep thinking about what you wish could have happened, or what they should have done, or what you should have done, I want you to think of this phrase, these 4 words, and you repeat them to yourself. You say, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And this can be toward any element of that relationship that you feel. You can direct it toward this specific person. You can direct it to yourself. In fact, you should, to both of those. And as you do that, you take accountability for what it is that was impacting you. And it redirects you. It allows you to now have clarity and focus and understanding that, hey man, I know what I'm in charge of here. I know what I can fix. I know what I can do. And you let the rest go, because it is out of your control. And when we spend our time focused on the things that are outside of our control, it only creates more anxiety within us. It only creates frustration. There is no end to the torment that we put ourselves through when we are trying to think of how to fix something outside of our control. In fact, they've done studies, and there's this thing, some of you may have seen it in business, it's called the circle of influence. And there's 3 circles, and on the inside there is control, circle of influence, and then things outside of our control. And most of us spend the majority of our day thinking about the things outside of our area of control. We are frustrated about the economy. We are frustrated about, the meal that was given to us by our grandma who didn't remember we were gluten intolerant. I'm gluten intolerant. Things like that. And it's real. Gluten intolerance is real. And I have control over that. But you take these things and you focus, instead of on what you can control, bring it into what you can. And when you stay there, if you want to change something that's outside of your control, expand your area of influence. As you expand your area of influence, you may be able to control something that is beyond your area of control at the moment. But we really want to understand how to focus specifically on what we can control. And that's a change of your mind and your process and your heart. So what I did after I left my wife was I began to work on this. And I had a lot of frustration. I felt that there were some things that had been done to me that were unjust. I felt that I deserved better treatment in some ways. I was also aware of the fact that I had done some things that were wrong. In fact, 10 years before my divorce, I had cheated on my wife. I had cheated on her for 3 years. And I got to a point where I realized, if this woman's gonna be with me, she's gotta know everything about me. And I confessed everything that I'd done. And you know what? She seemed to be able to forgive me for it. But as I began to work through the process, other things came up that were issues in our relationship that we couldn't get past. And that ended it. And I felt like it ended poorly. And I was angry at the way it ended. And I was angry at the way that she was treating me. I didn't feel it was just. And I was angry at the way it had impacted our kids. And I was angry about the division of her finances. And I was angry about the way she was treating me in court. I had all these things I was really angry about. And I think that's pretty typical in a divorce, all that stuff, that anger and those feelings of frustration. But it was such a taxing energy drain on me. It was such a tax on my mental space and my capacity to perform in the things that matter to me. It was disrupting my life. It was disrupting my work. It was disrupting my new relationships that I was trying to establish with new people, because I was hung up on this past that I was trying to change, wishing for an apology, wishing for a change in behavior, wishing for all these things that I could not deliver. And also, I was caught believing that I was responsible for things that I was not responsible for. And understanding the line between what I should own and what was hers to own was difficult for me. And I came across this practice of extreme accountability, Onopono, and I began to repeat this phrase. And I wrote her a letter the first Christmas after we left. It had been a year, to try to say, hey, I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you, thank you. And as I wrote this letter, what kept creeping into the letter were things that I still blamed her for. I would say, I'm sorry I did this, but I did this because you did that, right? And that was not a letter that I could send, because I was still caught in trying to seek justification. And I worked at it. It took me 2 years of repeating this phrase and thinking of her and staying focused on my space, because it was a long relationship. There was a lot to sort through. At the end of 2 years, I was finally able to write a letter to her that, whether she receives it or not, is irrelevant. Because now, when I encounter moments in our continued relationship, because we have kids, that frustrate me, where I start to fall into those old ways of blaming and looking for satisfaction and looking for justice, I feel the peace leave me that I try to carry with me. And in that moment, I can reflect on this method and what I said, and I think to myself, I am sorry. And I know the things that I am sorry for. And these are things that I control, that I did. And I can say, forgive me. And I know the things that I did. And I know the things that I can change. And I can say, I love you. Because I loved this girl. I did. I married her. Now, we may not be in love anymore, but I can still recognize why I loved her. And that's a peaceful thing to think about instead of all the stuff that broke it up. And then, thank you. And I can thank her for the life that we had together and the things that we had. And when I look at it in that space, at this relationship, the dissolution of a 24-year relationship, my most close and intimate one, I can meet it with peace. I can let it go. I can set it down. Four phrases that you got to use. And you apply those to anything within that relationship that's harming you, that's making you feel stuck, which is making you feel hurt. And as you do that, you repeat these phrases, your clarity over what it is you can own and control becomes crystal. You're able to then stand with peace in that moment when you can do this and feel confident to move forward and let the past go and not worry about other things that you have no responsibility thinking about. You know, and if you are dealing with a breakup of a very important relationship, a friendship, you are likely going to also be dealing with feelings of lack of worthiness. And so I want to direct you to this video of how you can feel worthy of love and use those methods to help sustain you as you work through this process. And thanks for hanging out with me. I want you to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss any other videos. And come on, you're still here with me today. I know you're binge watching. Check out some more videos. They're good ones. Hey, I know this can be a really hard concept to talk about. It's, dealing with personal relationships is tough. But if you want to leave a comment of maybe some things you're struggling with or how you've overcome that in your past, I would love to hear it so we can have a conversation and let other people know where you're at and how you're doing and how you're overcoming this stuff. If you want to have more one-on-one coaching with me, I do work as a performance mindset coach, and I can help you really metabolize fear and have breakthroughs to unleash your performance, your creativity, your innovation in times of uncertainty. I can do that for you. I work as a coach, and you can check out my link in the description below.